Greetings from Oak Island, North Carolina, where I have been spending the week resetting our beach house after a summer of sharing it with paying guests. But options expiration doesn't care where I am, so let's check in on the $1 million portfolio. In just under 5 months, this $1 million portfolio has grown by a little more than $83,000 from options premiums, dividends, gains in the share price, and some strategic profit taking. But today, I'm getting my first real experience with the opportunity cost of a covered call. I'm going to have 100 VIG shares called away for a profit, but I'm also leaving about $1,500 of upside on the table and giving up the September dividend that those shares would have earned for me. Meanwhile, most of my other options are expiring so far out of the money that I can't even get bids to close them and roll. So today, I'm responding to what the market gave me, and some of these adjustments will have to wait until next week, once today's contracts expire. GLD is finally exactly where I want it. QQQ and SPY mostly need patience today, and VIG, that one's a little bit disappointing. Let's start with GLD because after several months of wrestling with this position, I finally have it right where I want it. GLD has been my problem child for a while, not because it's been a bad investment, but because those 2 cash-secured puts threatened to give me more gold than I wanted. I've allocated about 10% of this portfolio to gold, and today those puts are finally expiring comfortably out of the money. And we'll look at where the position is now, almost exactly at my 10% target. So I'm not selling another put. I don't need more gold. Instead, I'm selling a covered call, and I'm going way out of the money at a strike where I would be perfectly happy to take the capital gain and start wheeling the position. After all the maneuvering I've done with gold, this one is finally simple. These 2 puts with a strike price of $394 are going to expire worthless at the end of the day, so there's really no reason for me to bother to put in an order to close them. I originally bought gold at $402.96 and have added shares along the way. My total options premium to date is $4,482. The last covered call I sold was with a strike price of $465 and it expired in June. I haven't been selling covered calls because the share price of gold has pulled back so much. But at this point, even though I really want to hang on to these shares and the net liquidity of the position right now at just over 110,000 falls right into my target allocation for this position, but I'm going to pick up just a little bit more cash by selling a put that I do not expect to go in the money. So I'm going to look at September 18th, and I'm going to go all the way up to either $450 or maybe even $475. A $450 call would bring me $435 and has a 22% chance or 22% probability of going in the money. If I raise the strike price to $470, there's about a 10% probability it would be in the money. And I see a bid at $184, so I'll go ahead and take that. I'm asking for $187, and it filled at $194. So let me put that on the spreadsheet. Since the current share price of gold is $424.19, I'm going to use that as my collateral value, giving me about a 6% return annualized on this covered call. So it's just a little booster to add some more cash to the account. I don't expect it to go in the money or for this to be called away. And if it is, $47,000 would be a fine amount to lock in profits on my gold position. QQQ is another example of why I don't automatically roll everything on expiration day. My put and my call are both comfortably out of the money, so far out that there's essentially no market for closing them. So I'm not forcing it. I will let both contracts expire. I can sell a new covered call now because I own enough shares, but I don't have enough available cash to secure another QQQ put while this one is still open. Once the collateral is released, I'll come back next week and sell the next put. Same strategy, just a few days later. All right, let's move down to QQQ. My most recent trades were on July 17th. I sold a $650 put and a $750 call, and they are both quite comfortably out of the money right now, with the share price at $713.27. I may or may not be able to get these rolls to fill, but I'm going to try to close these and open new ones. Rolling the $650 put looks like it would bring me a couple of $100. So here's the $650 put expiring on September 18th, and the $750 covered call for another $274. I'm going to just compare and see what if I chose the strike prices of $760 and $660. $760 would bring me about $125 less than the $750 call, and increasing to from $650 to $660 would just bring in about $60 more. I think I'm just going to keep the same two strikes that I used last time. Let's see if I can roll these out. I'm going to drop my ask below the bid. The roll won't fill on the put, so I'm just going to leave that one to expire at the end of the day. Let's try to roll the call. Probably because there is no intrinsic value and almost all of the extrinsic value is gone, I don't seem to be able to get the closing orders to fill for either one of these. But since I'm confident they're both going to expire worthless, I'm going to just go ahead and sell a new covered call with a strike price of $750 expiring in 1 month. And that one filled at $279. The current share price of QQQ is $713.50, so I'm using that as my collateral value for this covered call. So that gives me a 5.09% annualized rate of return on top of whatever capital gains I would get if these shares are called away. Now let's go back and see where I am with my target allocation. Remember, I want QQQ to be about 25% of this portfolio. And right now the net liquidity is $245.207. I'd like it to be about $260 or $270, so I may come back and add some shares after we finish the trades for the day. SPY is even simpler. My covered call doesn't expire until next month, so I'm leaving it alone. The put expiring today is so far out of the money that I couldn't get a roll to fill. So again, I'm not forcing a trade. I'll let it expire, get my collateral back, and look at selling another SPY put next week. Sometimes you need to make an adjustment, but sometimes managing options means recognizing that there is nothing useful to do yet. With SPY, I have a $755 call that has gone in the money. It's not expiring for 56 days, so I'm not really going to do anything about it today. But this $740 put, I would like to close it out. It's only worth $1, and sell a new one expiring in September or October. Also, SPY is right now valued at about $231 in my portfolio, and again I'd like to have it taking up about $260, but since I am devoting already $74,000 to secure this put, I may not actually buy any more shares right now. Since I'm not having a lot of luck rolling these, I'm going to see if I can just close this $740 put. There's an ask of $1, but it didn't fill when I bid that, so I'm going to offer $3. Okay, that's not happening. I already have a call open, and I'm just going to have to wait for this put to expire at the end of the day. But my targets are pretty much on track, so let's take a look here at VIG. VIG is different. My puts are expiring out of the money and wouldn't roll, but my covered call is in the money. I've tried to manage the call because I wanted to keep the shares. At this point, I'm going to accept assignment. I'll sell 100 VIG shares at my strike and lock in a profit. There's nothing wrong with that, but VIG is almost $15 per share above my strike right now. So I'm giving up nearly $1,500 of additional upside, plus the September dividend that those shares would have earned. That is opportunity cost. And this is the first time it's really shown up in this portfolio. It doesn't mean that the covered call was a bad trade. I've collected options premium throughout this campaign, and that income has more than compensated for the upside that I'm giving up here. But it's also exactly why I don't sell covered calls on every share I own. Next week, I'll sell new puts on VIG, and I'll probably use some of that premium to start replacing the shares that I'm losing today. Now remember, VIG I want to make up about 40% of my portfolio. Right now I have a $230 call that is likely to be assigned at the end of the day, and a couple of $230 puts that will expire out of the money, and a $235 put that will expire out of the money. So the first thing I'm going to do is see if I can roll out this call and increase the strike price. Rolling it straight out to September, I might be able to get $80 or $90. If I go to October, somewhere between $20 and $180. And if I try to increase the strike price to $235, I would have a debit. If I go all the way out to November, again, there is no way to increase this strike price. I don't really want to hold it this long, but going out to December, I might be able to get this to fill, and that would open me up to a dividend payment in September and possibly another one in December. I really don't want to roll out 119 days. Since rolling out to October would get me past the next ex-dividend date, I'll just see if I can pick up a little options premium and open myself to probably another $100 of dividends. I'm just keeping the same strike price, rolling straight out, and I'm going to ask for $160. All right, that's not happening, so I'm going to cancel it. So the only two trades I made today were to sell a $470 call on GLD and to sell a $750 call on QQQ. I'm just going to wait and let my other contracts play out today. Take these profits on VIG, wait for the SPY put to expire along with the QQQ put and call, and these two puts on gold, and I'll clean things up next week. Now let's pull back, because the individual trades are really only part of the story. The trades aren't the portfolio. They are the tools that I'm using to manage it. And I've also been doing some housekeeping in my spreadsheet. Because this is a simulated account, I have to manually add some cash flows that happen automatically in my actual Roth IRA, including ETF dividends and the income from the cash that I am holding in SWVXX. I've also started separating those income sources a little more clearly so that I can see exactly where this portfolio's return is coming from. Some quick accounting. I'm out of pocket just over $100,000 on gold. My average adjusted cost per share is $385.55. My net liquidity is $110,452, which moves my total profit and loss to a positive $9,821 profit on gold, about half of which has come from the options income. With QQQ, I'm summing all of my expense and income to date, dividing by the 344 shares in the account to see that my adjusted cost per share is just under $643. The net liquidity of QQQ is $245.91. My profit on QQQ since I started trading it is just under $24,000. And a little more than $7,500 of that has come from options premium, and the rest of it has been from the increase in the share value. SPY I'll assess next week after this cash secured put expires and I see what the share price is. And likewise with VIG. As far as my cash, you may remember that I keep my cash in SWVXX, but in this demo account, Thinkorswim doesn't allow me to show that. But each month when the SWVXX cash lands in my real accounts, I go back and figure out what the amount would be in this demo account. So you see April 1st was $432, May 1st, $1735, June 1st, $1747, and then July it was a little less because I had used some of my available buying power that month to purchase shares. So I only got $926 in SWVXX dividends. And on August 1st, I got just over $1,000. So those funds will be landing in my account on September 1st. I'll get probably close to another $1,000. On August 14th, I added up all of the options income and dividend income that I had received to date. And at that point, I had received just over $20,000 in options premiums and a little more than $7,300 in dividends. Those numbers have been added to my cash account, giving me a little more flexibility about how I manage my options, a little more buying power, and continuing to grow the account. That's what I mean when I talk about generating returns 4 ways. I earn options premium from puts and calls. I receive dividends from the ETFs that pay them. The cash in SWVXX earns income while remaining available to secure puts, and I participate in capital appreciation on the shares I own. It's all one system. Premium, dividends, and SWVXX income add to my cash. That cash can buy more shares or secure another put. And since I opened this simulated account with $1 million on March 25th, 2026, it's grown by approximately $83,000. That is while deliberately keeping a substantial amount in cash and managing this with the relatively conservative risk profile that I want for a retirement portfolio. I'm not trying to squeeze every possible dollar out of it. I'm trying to make the entire system work.